G&Q review.
Not only do you guys miss out from our iconic intro music, you guys are probably looking forward to and used to the avant-garde countdown that we have, where 60 jumps around for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Who wants a predictable countdown? We can know when the show starts.
It just didn't.
Our viewers.
It didn't feel the same, Grant. I had my classic, fake air drumming going on before, and you're getting amped up.
Yeah.
And this was like, it was like kind of like elevator music. I was like, okay, show's gonna start. I felt like the spectator, not the host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how you guys feel every week when you watch this?
Exactly. But we're back. We're fixing things. We're trying to be as legal as possible. The sponsors requested. They're like, hey, we never even cleared that sample. So can you do us a solid and don't use some royalty free shit? We said okay. We'll try it out. Anything for the sponsors.
Anything for the sponsors.
So what's going on, guys? G and Patrick Mullet Stewart. Anything new?
I got my car fixed today. That was pretty hefty.
What was wrong with your car?
The homeless dude. I never actually fixed any of that shit.
Oh.
So got my mirror replaced. My air conditioning coincidentally broke as well, so they got that replaced too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that an insurance claim kind of thing?
The guy was saying, like, I don't know. The mirror, I think, is the only thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like $500 of the $3,500. So it's like it's a little bit.
Jeez,
yeah.
Damn.
Well, at least does it look good now?
Yes, she's beautiful. She's beautiful again.
And the AC
essentials.
Essentials.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm glad. No.
Yeah. No longer even need to have the windows down.
Dope. Anything going on with you, Grant?
I'm like mostly
haircut from hell. Point. Oh, sorry.
No. One of my ears is kind of clogged up, and that's the only thing that I feel. But the past week, I had like really sick. Well, I did not feel good at all. Every day it was very shitty, and I had to take like 6 Dayquil, like just to get work done. Taking NyQuil, just a whole week, and I was like, it's got to be it. It's got to be the vid. I got tested. It wasn't the vid. So there's a nasty cold going around. It was pretty shitty. It was the sickest I've been in a long time. It was really bad.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's immune system is much weaker too, because we're not exposed to random shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I mean, I'm still not feeling the best. Kind of a incessant cough, but I don't.
You catch something too?
I don't know. I feel fine. I mean, it's just like it's just a little sometimes. But like you said, I mean, there's still millions of people getting regularly sick, and I don't know. That's life.
Common cold. It's not common COVID.
I don't remember like getting like a summer sick though. I feel like it's been a while since I got sick in the middle of the summer.
That's probably because they're like more weakened immune system, just because you're not exposed to as many things.
I think I had the food poisoning and then I got sick immediately after.
That's true tue. Yeah, don't eat the
meat.
How's your brain? Your response to pasta, meat pasta. When you think of meat pasta, yum yum yum, Italian, is that still a little nauseous for you, or you're like, I could go for some meat pasta?
It tastes bad. That's the thing. Like, it didn't taste spoiled at all or anything.
Okay,
but I'm assuming that's what it was because I had some pretty nasty times in the bathroom.
It's me. Spaghetti.
It was all sauce in the bathroom.
Yeah, just a lot of sauce wasn't lost in the sauce, man.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today, guys?
Today,
Sand.
Sand?
yes, sand.
Resources.
We're talking about sand. We're talking about spice. We're talking about Patrick Mullet Stewart. We're talking about Dune, a 1984 American epic science fiction film written and directed by the one, the only David Lynch, based on the 1965 Frank Herbert novel of the same name. It's set in the distant future. It chronicles the conflict between rival noble families for the battle of control of the extremely harsh desert planet Arrakis, also known as Dune. And they are fighting over, the control and the harvesting of spice, which Quinn, Patrick, anyone want to chime in on what spice is?
Spice is worms. Worms are spice.
That's a correct answer.
My answer is the spice must flow.
But what is spice? Why is it important in this universe?
It turns humans into giant jellyfish that live forever.
It's a metaphor for oil.
Maybe, but they said it allows somebody to travel through
space, travel without your consciousness.
Yeah,
live
you
forever.
Get real addicted to it. I read. Yeah. And I don't think that happened in the movie, but I think you die if you stop taking it after you're addicted to it. Like you will die from a spice withdrawal.
Because it extends your life for more than normal. So if you don't have it, it's like causing life.
This is from the book. This is from the novel.
I think that's also from the movie. Like he daydreamed it and he snapped. He said he's going to stop it, and that like worm thing, human, kind of died. While he had the water of life. Sorry, too specific. Too specific, guys.
No, that's a scene out of many scenes.
I was like, then he hit me with the water of life. There was a lot of scenes with the water of life. They were pouring it on the floor. They were. Yeah.
I started watching this, and me and Quinn have been snubbed in the past. We've watched, what's the story? The Hollywood Story. What's the Quentin Tarantino?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yep.
A Hollywood Story.
The Hollywood Story.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Me and Quinn were snubbed because we didn't do our sufficient background research. I didn't want that to happen again. So a few minutes in, I was like, there's a lot going on. And I did some searching, and everyone's like, you don't do any research, go in with no context. So I went in with no context. And it was good. I went along the ride of David Lynch. I feel like, adaptation or not, it was a surreal movie, and it seemed like the subject matter fit David Lynch's style. That makes sense.
What about the subject matter fit the style?
Psychedelic. So I guess the sequences, it didn't have to be in order at points. Okay. And the religious aspect I thought was actually pretty Lynchian in the way they portrayed this guy and how he was the one
Messiah kind of figure.
Yeah, and the thing, it's interesting, and I don't know if it'll come out in the, one reason why we watch this film is because it's also going to be released in, a month and a half. And I watched the trailer for the new one after, and I mean, it's vastly different. And they don't really include anything about the religious aspects that Lynch included, at least in the trailer. Obviously, they could in the film. I haven't read the book either, but I'm kind of intrigued to after watching this film.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important to note it's not just one book. It's a series of books. It's a behemoth. I think.
Not even by one author.
What? Oh, I don't know.
It's... So the author, I think Frank Herbert or whatever, he wrote maybe somewhere between 3 to 5 books, passed away. Sometime after this movie came out, his son wrote an additional 14 books. And I think there was another person after that who wrote more as well. So there's like so many, but they're all supposed to be garbage after the first one. I've only read the first one.
Not even the Frank Herbert ones.
Those are supposed to be okay, but like
Okay.
if you're not like diehard super into it, like there's plenty of things they're just like average.
Okay.
He's kind of like a one-hit wonder.
If I read the first book, Dune, that is rated, it was, I was reading about it too, and it was saying it was known to be the most popular science fiction novel of all time. And so if I read that, would that cover the plot of this movie?
Yeah, definitely 100%. It's
Okay.
This movie was like a poorly stitched together rendition of.
So this movie wasn't about the universe. It was about the first novel.
First book. Yep.
Does it cover any of the second book or no?
No, it ends pretty much at the same spot.
Okay. Yeah. So the new movie, it's only going to do half of the first book. And then,
okay. They're splitting it up.
Yeah, like a Hobbit sort of Lord of the Rings, which I think they should do. I mean, sometimes you think it's a cash grab, but I think in this case, it's pretty warranted.
Yeah, I felt like my issues with this were it was a lot of showing without telling. So it was about connections with all. There are so many characters, and like I don't know how they relate to each other. I've read the book, and I'm like, I really don't. Like, who's this guy again? What's he coming in for? Like, why does this matter? They're trying to do like they were trying to do the little like subtle plays with like there's a spy among us. It wasn't that subtle, it's like outright said. But then there's like one scene that might cause suspicion, but it's just like these like highlight reel things where it's like you're not really allowed to think about what's happening. It's just like forced on you.
But I feel like that's Lynch's directing style too.
It could be.
You know, I feel like forcing yourself, like, yeah, you don't get to think. You're put into like an adventure. You're like struggling to take in stuff, everything that's happening. I feel like that is, you know, that's a theme of Lynch's films.
Yeah, but I feel like it was like I didn't even have to struggle. It was just like.
I agree. I think I struggled in a bad way at times, especially it felt like the first hour of the film almost was setup of characters, but in the worst way, you know, like I thought they showed like the 3 planets, like right at the beginning. I was like, okay. And then you like can't like even think, I'm like thinking about, I was like, okay, so there's like 3 groups of families, like who lives on what, like who's the Baron guy, you know, like is this, yeah, I'm like,
what's wrong with the Baron?
I don't know. Why is he
he's like a vampire.
Yeah, but
he's like a warty flying vampire. Like he pulled that dude's
heart valve.
Did his heart valves get pulled at the end too?
Yeah.
Why does everyone have a heart valve?
I remember when they captured someone, they were like, "Ooh, your heart valve was just installed." So I don't know. They didn't explain much.
Doesn't that seem a little? Doesn't that like in the future? Would you want like an off switch that like they could just pull when you're dead?
No, that seems dangerous.
Walk up to him. Hello.
April Fool's, buddy.
What up? Yeah, there was definitely a lot going on, and I was invested in the first, I'd say, hour. I was like, oh, I'm bored. I was like, the factions and like the houses. You got the Baron, the Emperor, Fremen, and then I think it just gave up. It's like I don't know. They even do the point like like in a book, it's very common and very commonplace.
I don't know what you're saying.
For thinking dialogue,
inner voice.
Yeah, it's a good way to. Books are a good medium for that, and people don't do that in TV and movies, but in here it's like every single character has some sort of internal dialogue.
I didn't dislike it. Of super famous TV shows, Scrubs did that often
with every single character.
It would do with characters on a regular basis,
but
it would primarily do JD, but it would switch perspectives on certain episodes, but yeah, primarily JD.
And it would show a comedic like alternate reality a lot of the time with the inner monologues, because it'd be paired with like a daydream. I think that was kind of
They
like
go over the top.
Yeah. But in this, I feel like it was just like a shortcut to like real development of characters and or the plot. It's just like, he's deceiving me.
Yeah, they're just looking at the book and they're like, shit, how do we film this? Oh, well, he can just say the same shit out in the movie and we'll put the voiceover there.
Did you I don't know. I'd rather examine like that technique of using inner voice. In my opinion, I didn't hate it. I thought that was, I guess what you guys are saying is like a cop out. It's like there's better ways in film to show that than just say like inner voice.
It felt so lazy.
They just did it so much. Maybe if you can play around with it, but like it's happening in every scene. There's some sort of, I wonder where he's from. I don't.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah, and I can't really speak to the plot versus the books, Pat. I don't know. From what I read, there seemed to be a lot of disconnects or just different directions. I mean, I guess the overall idea of the spies is the same, but probably specific characters were either done well or done poorly.
I mean, I think that a lot of it, I think they were just too many characters in that movie. It felt like there was just too much going on. I don't know. So I feel like overall the plot was kind of the same, but it was just like, it just felt very spread thin. So it didn't go very deep.
Did they have blue eyes on Arrakis?
Yes, I think they did.
I'm sure. I feel like they did. I feel like that's a detail that just Lynch didn't come up.
See how major plot points we're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, the film just seems like it's so chock full of lore and things going on that it's difficult to make into a single movie.
When it was originally released in theaters, when you got your ticket, they would give you like a little index, so you would know like what the things were, like definitions,
like the weirding modules.
Exactly, like what
different planets.
Yeah,
I couldn't. It took me a while to get like, you had like the Harkonnens, and then what were the Atreides? So Paul's okay. This scene stood out to me in my confusion. This was like peak confusion.
Yeah.
It was Paul and his dad and like a Freeman who had blue eyes who just told them about the suits, and then they were flying, and then they were going to like a spice, I don't know, production plant, and they saw a worm coming, and they're like, worm's coming, and they tell the base, and they're like, good eye, that T minus 16 minutes, like the worm's coming. And then Paul's father said something about they were Harkonnens, like on the production plant.
The Harkonnens. So usually those like factories, they're mobile, so they get dropped in by a ship, and then the ship comes and picks them up when they're done. The Harkonnens came and destroyed the ship that was supposed to pick them up, so that's why Paul and his father had to intervene, and that's why it was like a dangerous scenario. So he was showing like, I'll put those workers' lives above the spice. Yeah. And my life as well is like going to rescue them.
The spies
is not more
that
than
makes
life.
A lot of sense. So the Harkonnens were destroying. There was like an active war going on.
Yeah, definitely. But like it's like glossed over. Like it just like
the Emperor the Emperor had a bigger plan of having the Harkonnens destroy the Atreides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. While he just sat around.
Yep.
Okay.
What did you guys think of the little assassination attempt on Paul in his bedroom?
With the hunter seeker or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, they just kind of made it up as they go. I'm like, okay, well, I guess he very advanced technology, but if he doesn't move, it's okay. I don't know how they're controlling it. Is it a drone? Is it magic? I don't know that.
It speaks. It's the year 10,191. It can smell him only if he moves.
Yeah, it's like he was able to grab it. It's pretty.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. What do you? All right.
Yeah.
Another question. That scene. So the lady, like the house worker or whatever, Fremen, was the one to inform him there's a spy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But she only told him that as payment for him saving her life. What do you think she was going to do? Like, why was she there in the first place?
Well, I didn't know it was for payment for saving her life.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought she said something along.
She might have said that.
If she'd said that, I would have thought it was like cheeky. Like, now I'm only telling this because you just saved me.
Now I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't think she was going in there to kill him.
No, because she was worried about it. I think she was like trying to protect him.
She's trying to verify if he's the chosen one.
What?
I don't know how she would have done that.
Yeah, just tossing it out there.
What's the answer?
There isn't one. I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was some poorly portrayed movie scene that made more sense in the book.
No, I was just trying to get some wild guesses, but I think you're right with just general protection,
Just
feeling out who the new kings in town are.
yeah, there was a lot of, like I said, that was later on in the film too, and I just kind of, I don't know. I just was like, I'm just along for the ride. I'm not gonna use my brain. There's a lot going on, and
you can be along for the ride and still use your brain.
I guess I don't know, man. It was I was coughing. This is affecting my.
I get what you're saying. At a point, you can't. You're no longer problem solved. You're not trying to. You stop wrapping your brain around it, and you just perceive.
I hoped one of their inner monologues would explain everything to me.
With the lady like in the weird space background.
Yeah.
I think I got the gist of it, though. I don't think it's that. Like, I think
what are weirding modules, Grant? What is weirding?
Alien technology.
Is that important?
That's like very important.
No, it was like some sort of powerful attack. Yeah. But
what is a module?
It allows you to do it, except the one he was able to do it without a module at the end.
There was the weirding way.
No idea what that is.
Grant, Mr. I got it.
No. I'm not saying I understand every single like I feel like knowing what the weirding module is beyond it's a weapon and they're teaching it to the Freemen to form an army. Like, do I need to know it beyond that?
No, you got that one. I didn't ask about that one. I said the weirding way.
Was that when they turn into Minecraft? Like, go into Minecraft reality and start wrestling?
That one was great. I think that's like just shields.
It's the shields.
Which was crazy the first time they did it.
I was like, this isn't real.
It cost thousands of dollars. Just to...
Millions.
The weirding way, it's like Kung Fu. I don't know. A form of movement.
Okay, that's the same thing as a weirding module. Okay.
Element of, but it was like special hand-to-hand combat. I don't know. They said it, and I was like, who knows what it could be? Once I explain it, of course, you're like, oh yeah, way of fighting.
My point was that like the major the story was coherent to me, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There wasn't.
The story was coherent. It's not like you leave the theater and you're like, what happened?
Why were they on the planet?
Yeah, like I feel like it's a story about Paul becoming the one and the legacy being fulfilled, right?
Yep.
That's the film. It's good.
But I think part of like a prophecy, what they're saying, all these things come true. It's not about like what actually comes true. It's how it happens. And if you don't understand some of the details on how it happens, it could feel less than 100% fulfilling. But yeah, I got the gist too. Go to Dune, get the spice,
Feel good.
feel good.
Protect the spice. Shut
protect
down the spice.
Ride a couple worms.
They rode the
Oh,
worms.
here's
Yeah.
I have a good piece of input that I think shows how maybe the film could have done this better. I was watching with my housemate Casey, and he did not like Paul, and he thought Paul was committing a genocide and just like going on a rampage and killing people. And then we finished the movie and we watched the trailer for the new movie, and even in the trailer they made the stakes evident. The reason why, like, the spice was native to that planet, and then you just have a bunch of other planets just coming and fucking up, killing your people and taking your spice just because it's valuable. So it definitely allows the viewer to side with Arrakis, while Casey was not siding with Arrakis at all during this film.
Yeah. It's definitely a genocide that's happening though. Like it's they're killing every single person. So if
Big
that
rip.
yeah, if that makes you a good person or a bad person, if you're infringed upon, Casey might say yes, others no. Not really sure, but yeah, they were Fremen jihadists.
They were just
Yeah.
Killing.
they were scary too. I don't know why. If I saw a group of people on that size worm, I'd be like, I'm turning around. We're on the wrong
out.
team. I'm
Yeah,
out.
I gotta stoves on.
Is year 10,191. I got better things to do.
Yeah.
Fuck the spice.
I'm not worm wrangling today, officer.
Get a robot to worm wrangler. Wrangle.
Yeah. Can we get the Hunter Seeker Worm Edition, please?
I didn't watch the new trailer, but I bet it's gonna look fucking sick.
Yeah.
You guys
I
want to
think
watch
so.
it really quick?
Sure. Can you get your sound to go through here?
Oh, it's a good
Maybe.
question.
We're gonna get flagged again, Grant. we should. We don't have to watch it if it isn't convenient.
Okay.
Other than kind of the plot, I thought the special effects were kind of like well placed. It felt like their budget was, I don't know. It was a little bit
high, low.
In some spots I thought it was good. Others it was awful. So it was just like, wouldn't you just do a little bit more like even throughout? Like I thought the scenes on, I don't even know if there were special effects, but generally when they were on Dune, it was good. Everywhere else, just completely awful. Like Baron flying around was like almost comical. The space scenes looked like a, grade school play. It was just a little bit rough.
I thought they did a good job.
Really?
For 1984,
Their shields were pretty cool.
the shields were. I guess
I will say, so I was using Star Wars as a kind of control to see, Star Wars was made in the 70s. And so I thought this looked worse than Star Wars. But I also am remembering that the Star Wars editions that we've all seen have been touched up and are not original footage and effects.
Okay. That's what I'm comparing it to as well. So that
I don't think
sense.
anyone took the time to go back to Dune and do a newer version. So I think
remastered.
I did get I uploaded the trailer. If we want to watch it, we should be able to hear sound. It's 3 minutes.
Okay.
I think it's going to take over the screen, but we can unmute our voices and talk over it.
Okay. Let's
Cool.
Let's do it.
My planet Arrakis is so beautiful when the sun is low,
who dat?
rolling over the
That's
sand.
Shawnee.
Zendaya.
In the air.
We're gonna confuse the algorithms this
The
way.
outsiders ravage our lands in front of our eyes.
They're like the sound waves are everywhere.
Your
Genocide.
cruelty to my people is all I've known.
Is that the
Is that
Baron?
Baron?
Yeah.
Oh, he looks way better.
Waits to become
Yeah,
of our
at least he
world.
looks healthy.
Intimidating.
Oh, I like the music.
A boy.
Hey, Duncan, can I trust you with something?
Yes, always. You know that.
I've been having dreams about a girl on Arrakis. I don't know what it means.
Dreams make good stories. But everything important happens when we're awake. Look at you. Put on some muscle?
I did?
No.
We are House Atreides. There is no call we do not answer. There is no faith that we
Oh,
betray.
Shield's looking much better.
Smile, Gurney.
I am smiling.
The Emperor asks us to bring peace to Arrakis. House Atreides, accept!
I know you. There's something awakening in my mind.
You need to
Oh,
face your fears.
Come with me.
You need to be ready. You've never met Harkonnens before. They're not human.
the special effects are better.
You know, I think they're pretty equal.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Dune. Kill them all.
Yeah, it's the Baron, I think, flying around.
God in heaven.
Get everything with guns off the ground! Go!
This is an extermination. They're picking my family off one by one.
Let's fight like demons.
Dad, what if I'm not the future of House Atreides?
A great man doesn't seek to
The
lead.
worm.
He's called to it. But if your
That's a
answer
big
is
one.
no, you'll still be the only thing I ever needed you to be. My son. If anything happens, will you protect Paul?
With my life.
Only together can we stand a chance.
It's time.
Dune. Coming to a theater near you. And HBO
First-
Max.
Oh, HBO Max. First, I
Wow.
just want to say I think they're making a mistake with not using Toto for the music again. I thought that did not touch Toto.
I thought they should have mentioned the spice once.
Yeah.
Did they? You like if you just
Yeah.
watch that, you don't know what the hell they're fighting over, right?
They're trying to. Well, I learned one thing is they're trying to. So the trap. I just realized they talked about the trap. So the Emperor has told the House Atreides that they're going to Arrakis to bring peace, when in reality the Emperor knows that the Harkonnens are going to be there and assassinate Paul. So the Emperor is bad, and the Harkonnens are obviously the Baron and shit. They're bad, but they're falling into a trap, kind of knowingly in Lynch's film. I think they mentioned that it's a trap, and there's not much they can do about it.
Another thing,
They do.
they didn't. The worm people didn't make an appearance.
They did.
Yeah, the
And-
Freemans.
No. I mean, like the actual people that look like a worm from taking all the spice.
Oh, they might have gotten cut.
The other special effects.
Which did I
Like,
miss these?
Remember? No.
The
The big
very
ass worm
first
thing
scene.
that talks to the emperor.
He's like
That's
boss
what
and the
happened to
emperor.
him?
Yeah,
What?
He's
yeah,
taking spice too long. That's what happened.
Yeah.
yeah.
That guy turned
When
into
did they say that?
in the beginning. I don't know. That's when I was paying attention.
That
Oh, wow.
it.
He had vagina lips.
Yeah.
They
it was-
really went real close up to him too. Like when he was talking.
Ugh.
I thought they were gonna come back too. I don't know, interfere with some sort of I don't know, some climax where the worms fighting some legion of all those
There's-
soup, because those people need the spice the most to live.
And they're very powerful. You know, he's bossing the emperor around. You know.
Yeah.
There is some weird part in the book, but it's very confusing. It doesn't make sense. It's like 6 of them, and they describe their appearance. They all look very weird, and they can all read each other's minds, but they're all lying to each other, and it's just like no one knows what. It's very confusing. So I'm not surprised they didn't include it.
They're like, yeah, just
So
scratch that. We don't need that.
that was a human at one point.
Yeah, that's that you live forever, and you're like omniscient or esque, but you look like that.
So your body like kind of disintegrates into like.
You're turning into a worm. Worms
don't-
are spice.
Bam. Yeah, you just gotta sit in a vat.
What's the
all day.
relationship with
What
spice
is
and the worms?
The holy water.
Water of life.
I mean, you know, it's just in, you know, I get why people love Marvel films, you know, because you see the Superman we saw, and then you see like Marvel films today, and it's like, bro, I mean, you're in a theater, you're just like, this is fucking nuts. Like, even that trailer, apologies for it being in 360p, not the best quality, but the sound and just the effect, like you are in that world, and that was not possible. I don't know what the budget was, but Lynch was a big name.
It was like 40 or 42 million.
Yeah, that I feel like that's a decent amount of cash back then to
80s?
throw at a
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, movies now just the next level. It's special
They're
effects
blank
and
check.
world building. I think is the most important. Like you can have a great movie in 1984, but it's gonna not be a massively science fiction film taking place on the planet Arrakis, right? And now we can do that, and enough where you're more immersed. Like you don't even think about it. You're just like, I'm in. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
The worms.
Let's go. What kind of dreams have you been having, Paul? Who is this girl? We have to find her.
Johnny.
Girl on the planet. I still think it would probably be better suited as if they could do it some sort of Game of Thrones way where it's a serialized version. I mean, there's just a lot of shit going on.
But I think 2 movies isn't bad, because if they only want to do 1 book, because Game of Thrones is different because it's got like a lot of quality books. But
And, what's the length of
true.
like Fire and Ice? Just off the top of your head.
Like they're all around 1,000 pages.
Okay. Dune is 400 pages and there's 1.
Yeah.
But it's heavy, you know. There's a lot of
I think there's a lot of lore. I think if they made it a television series, they would have to make up source material very fast.
It doesn't
which is
have
not a bad thing.
It doesn't have to be 7 seasons, just serialized.
A mini series.
10-part Dune.
Like
Doc.
McMillions.
Like McMillions, which had 6 parts, which didn't need 6 parts.
Needed 4,
Needed 4.
which is 2 movies.
Just 2 movies. There you go. So McMillions or Dune? All right. I don't have any other notes for Dune.
Yeah, my notes were not like, I mean, they were almost like taking notes.
You're like
Paul
like
is Messiah.
like a flow chart. Like,
Yeah, kind of. Like,
Harkonnens might be attacking. Harkonnens did attack.
water? Question mark. Spice? Question mark.
What is your relationship with spice and worms?
Ask Professor about this later.
Office hours 9 to 11 Sundays.
Timestamp 2 hours and 1 minute 30 seconds.
So, are you guys? Would you say your interest in the new movie is greater or less than?
100% greater. I had no idea what the fucking. I saw the trailer, so I was like, why do people want to watch this?
Okay.
I mean, it seems like okay. I'm actually tempted to read the book before. It's only 400 pages.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read the book. I am, I think, more interested in the movie because it's, I mean, the fundamental idea, the plot, spice. Everyone needs a spice. How are you going to get the spice? That's cool. I like that. I don't think the trailer showed that. It just kind of showed people killing each other, and some sort of trap allegiance. You're my son. What if I'm not ready? Maybe a little bit too empirical, like relating to empires, but maybe that's kind of what the book was about. Your empires fighting over resources. So, considering I never even heard of the movie coming out either, I think I'm more interested and I will watch it. And
Patrick, as someone who has read the book,
that's it.
Yeah, I'm more interested. I was mildly interested in the. Actually, I was pretty interested, but now I'm very interested. Even though I had a negative opinion of this film, but it just kind of repeats.
Interesting. It's an interest. Like the story's good, and I know I think we're done with notes, but Frank Herbert actually liked the film as well.
Yeah.
He was a fan. Let's see. I think I had a quote, and I think I.
It probably made him a bunch of money.
He's like, I like this movie. You should all watch this movie.
It's a good movie. Did you know I make 50% off of every ticket?
Meanwhile, director David Lynch has said he considers this movie the only real failure of his career.
He says they've got it. It begins as Dune does, and I hear my dialogue all the way through. There are some interpretations and liberties, but you're gonna come out knowing you've seen Dune. And then reviews of the film are not as favorable, saying it was incomprehensible to those unfamiliar with the book, and that fans would be disappointed by the way it strayed from the book's plot. I did not think it was incomprehensible. I thought it was comprehensible. At times, it was overwhelming and confusing, but you could comprehend what was going on.
You got to fill in a lot of the gaps, though. There's a lot of things it's
not spoon-fed to you.
No, it doesn't have to be spoon-fed. But the food's
they're
got to be there
making up
somewhere.
Words and expecting you. They're like speaking a different language.
Yeah, you're like, what? Okay.
Yeah, Quinn. Remember what was Nolan's film?
He made a lot.
We watched Tenet. Oh, we watched Tenet, which was a science fiction. Oh, he's back.
I went to find a Nolan film, and I didn't do that.
Tenet.
Yes, Tenet.
That I thought was more incomprehensible than this film, even though it was clearer in like the lore and what was supposed to be happening. I thought the plot line had holes. I guess that's what I'm saying. I felt like the plot was pretty straightforward with a bunch of shit that was like a bunch of lore pasted on that. I'm like, I'm just going with the ride. I can't read that. The ride's moving. But the ride, started and finished. While with Tenet, it was like, I think the ride disappeared for a while.
Yeah, I mean that's like layers. That's like this movie would be like, yeah, the details, the way they're getting to the plot is a little obscure, but Tenet's like the main point, like what the film sits on. You're like, you can't even wrap your mind around it. You're like, what? That's backwards, and we're going forwards, and you're going through the turnstile. Meanwhile, yeah, shit's going.
We had so many questions. How could people? I don't even want to go. Like, how people were going back. Like, some people were from the future, but they weren't walking backwards. But only some people. It was.
Because
I
they went
remember
through
we.
the turnstile again. Yeah, I
Oh,
remember.
you're right. Yeah, something like that.
So they knew things from the future, but they were also moving forward. You need you need the flow chart.
Yeah, you need that one. You need to take notes. I remember me and Quinn were just like, we had to pause that film and be like, all right,
Yeah,
what did you write down?
we watched that one
What's
in
going
person
on?
together. We were like a couple drinks in, and we were like, "Oh my god, what's going on?"
Damn.
All right, is it about that time, Chris? It's about that time. The G&Q patented review where we decide whether the true rating of Dune 1984 is over or under the IMDb rating. And we are sitting at a 6.4 with 136,000 votes.
Wait. What was the? Sorry. One more time.
It's the G&Q patented review. No, I'm just kidding. 6.4,
6.4.
136,000 votes.
I was making the banner for the next week.
Crazy.
6.4.
Yeah, 6.4. It's tough. That's
That
really what I
is
would
a
rate
number
it.
there. Yeah, that is.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna give it an over, a 6.4. I think 6.4 is a little low, and it was definitely a good introduction to the series. It's very, very, very famous, and I knew nothing about it before. I'd say the first hour and a half, hour was very enjoyable for me, and then I gave up. And I think it's over 6.4.
I can go next, if you please, Grant. I'm going to give
That
it an
works.
under. You have one of the, I think Grant called it the best science fiction books of all time. Translated into a film. I guess it's 6.4. It's not very, I don't know. You got to have higher expectations than that, in my opinion. I didn't think it was very good. I'm going to go under.
I think I would go under as well. I am grateful that we watched it. Like for me, I guess it was interesting. I don't know now. I mean, it piqued my interest and it was an interesting story, but the movie itself, like if you're looking at the movie as a work, I don't think it's a 6.4. The source material, like the plot, all this stuff. I mean, that's not Lynch's, right? So like Lynch made the film and maybe it was too early to make the film because of technology, but I think it could have been done better. I don't know how maybe during 1984, but I'm glad I watched it. But still, I think it's not a 6.4.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, it's like you said, making it better. I don't think it was a time period issue. I don't think it was like a technology constraint. I think they shoved everything in this movie, and still at like, I don't know. I watched an extended version. It was almost 3 hours long.
Dang.
And it's still I don't
That's
give
gonna
me
come out during our whole episode.
I just remembered that. I was like, why did I think it was so long? Well, mine was like a little under 3 hours.
Mine was 2:15.
That's 2:15.
Oh, mine was like 2:50 or something like that.
You didn't just do HBO Max?
No, I did not, because I need to get some clips for later for the IG.
So you bought the film.
Yeah, I bought it. I ripped it onto the CD and I put it in my CD drive, and I actually don't know what the differences are between.
Yeah, maybe that's why they describe the worm people taking spice too much, turning into that. I didn't remember that part at the beginning.
Wow. People say avoid the extended entirely. Lynch disowned it. It's a mess. Go for the theatrical version.
Oh no.
So maybe.
And you went over?
And I went over. Well, because I went over on more like a cultural. Like I'm like, this is. If I had to rewatch it, 6.4 is so low too. I don't.
I thought that was a bad movie. I thought Magic Mountain with Hulk Hogan was better than that.
Actually,
I don't know about that.
I would rather.
Which one would you rather watch? Three Ninjas, High Noon at Mega Mountain, or Dune?
Three Ninjas.
Dune.
I think I would watch Three Ninjas.
And how the fuck are you going over, Quinn?
Because I said over for Three Ninjas too. I thought it was an enjoyable film.
Three Ninjas is like, over 6.4.
It's like a 7. This is like, I still think it's in the 6s. It's like a 6.7 or a 6.8. And I think Hulk Hogan, it was like a 7.3, 7.2 maybe.
My mind's a little bit blown right now.
You saying Three Ninjas was in the 7s?
If you go back and listen to it, it's just like, it's not a great movie, but it's just like, it's not a bad movie.
Were you blazed when you watched it? Were you just high out of your mind, being like, Hulk Hogan, this is fun.
Hit him in there.
All right, we should watch like Spy Kids or something. That's like I don't know if that's an actual good kids movie. I guess a Pixar movie.
SpongeBob the movie.
Maybe it's this extended cut, guys. Maybe I gotta. I don't know. Maybe I'm an under. Who knows?
Don't let us change your mind.
You know. You're the only one who knows.
It's that first time watch like appeal. There's something in there for like, oh, cool, sci-fi. Oh, it's a cool story. All these things are fresh and new to you. While in Three Ninjas, nothing fresh or new is happening, but you're like, there's some funny things in there, and Hulk Hogan's being weird. Yeah.
What Dune did for me is it put me in the universe, even though it poorly maybe told the story or there's too much happening. I just thought there was too much happening. There was too much source material. And so it didn't take you like slow enough where you could actually appreciate all the source material it's taking about. I think on a second watch, things would make sense more. You would follow it more. I would watch it again right before, like, oh, let's have a Dune marathon before we go to the theater. Let's watch Lynch's version. That sounds fun to me. Have a few drinks and then go to the
I disagree. I think
it gets you in the
equally
universe.
Confusing. You say
I think it would be equally confusing.
I was confused the first time, and I'm still confused.
I feel like I got the gist. Like it's not that confusing of a story, as I've been saying. I think it's pretty complicated.
It's not the story.
But it's not the story. Yeah, the story is straightforward, but what you're missing is like what's important about the story because there's no details given. There's no
I guess here's a good example
anywhere.
that I think I agree with you. Is like they had the whole scene with the Baron like introduction.
Yeah.
And he's floating around and the doctors are around him and they say they love his skin. First, is that happening because he's taking too much spice? I don't know. Continue, moving on. He like unplugs the young guy. I didn't know if he was feeding off young people or he just killed him for fun. You know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Just unplugged him and he kind of like hugged him or it
blood
was kind of homoerotic a little bit.
Kind of like vampirical.
Yeah, and then but he wasn't like drinking it or like plugged it into himself like or anything that would indicate he was needed to survive. So that's a great scene where it's like I don't think a rewatch would explain anything more.
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't know. Really don't get this part.
And even like there's so much significance given to the relationship between Paul and his father. But like if you watch it again, I don't know if you're gonna get much more than like, son, you're important. Father,
Dad, you're not gonna die. Nothing's gonna happen to you.
I feel like there's just not that extra layer that lets more interpretations occur.
I feel you, Grant. I know on other films you'd be like, oh, if I had another rewatch, I'd be able to like point out, I'd understand maybe some connections. I just don't think that would Don't think it would happen.
Yeah. Well,
But if you are interested in the book, I would recommend the book. It's pretty good. If you're peeked into the universe and you want to go through the story and you want that extra detail, I check it out.
would you say it's like, is it non-canon? I feel like it's just source material, right?
Yeah. But it just goes into, it'd be like what you're looking for the second rewatch.
Yeah, it's like Harry Potter books and the movies. You get everything in the movie and more.
Maybe I'll read the book.
Maybe.
But that's it. That closes our discussion
Forever.
of
Until
Dune
October.
For now, until October. When does it come out?
October, November. I don't know.
I think we might be together when it comes
October 22nd, 2021. We'll boot
During
up
the
the
day.
old HBO
Well,
Max. Well,
It could be possible.
could be possible.
Actually,
For an
could be.
in-person viewership.
Anyway,
Depending on our Wi-Fi situation.
And
Well,
mental.
dude, I'm sure they have
It'll
a
be
dope
fresh.
theater. I'm sure they have a dope theater. Anyways,
All
They
right.
do.
sure. Anyways, done with Dune until November. We will discuss that more next week.
Whoa.
We're reviewing not a film. We're not reviewing a film, guys.
It's a TV show, right?
It's not a TV show.
Oh,
It's
what?
Kanye West's newest album, Donda.
Donda.
And Quinn can't speak because he's already listened to it.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm actually surprised you guys haven't listened to anything about it because there.
I did the same thing as Pat. I listened to the first song. I was like, it's not even a song. It's just like,
I'm not doing this right now.
I don't think I'm ready for this right
Yeah.
And then I see 27 songs. I'm like,
You're like, really?
really? Like, that's the best one? Not interested. But, I'll give it a fair shot.
Now you
Let's
have
see
to.
tomorrow.
Now
Listen.
you have.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Yes.
There's not a lot of. I mean, there is.
Did
some,
you listen to it in one go? Is that a requirement?
It's not a requirement. I'd say
I
it's.
feel like it's a requirement.
I did like. I'll explain how I listened to it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't watch. Well, I guess we've watched movies and paused them and continue on later.
You pause Dune.
No?
Okay.
I did.
Well, to
I
pour
had
some more
like
wine.
3 hours. Yeah, Kanye West, Donda. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about next week. I'm gonna save some of my comments for then, and I'm looking forward to it.
Sweet. All right. Thank you all for listening. That's all we got this week. We will see you next week with Kanye West Donda, which hopefully, you guys are excited to listen to and hear our take on. If you want to reach out, give us any recommendations. Maybe it is a music album. Maybe, it's a Lynch film. Maybe it's a TV series, whatever you got. You can send us recommendations where we will read them. We actually have an email address for that. It's feedback@gqreview.com. Wait, we have a website too? Yeah, gqreview.com. Do you have
This
Instagram?
just in. Quinn pinged me on the side.
What
His old friend has requested to join us for the Donda review. Mr. Anthony Fantano is coming to G&Q Review. He's
You
wearing
heard it
a-
here
You
first.
heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Yes. Tell your friends. It'll be huge.
He's going to rate it
Yeah.
over or under.
Oh, wow. As I, Pat, did you will that into existence?
It's happening.
It's happening.
Unless
All
he has
right.
a medical emergency and could not make it.
Well, he already did his own review 34 minutes ago, so
Oh,
Please,
His
please,
contract's broken.
please.
please. Can we
Follow
cut
us
that?
on
Cut.
Instagram and Twitter at gqreview.com. That is all. See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
peace.